Yes, he's back, and it's only getting worse. Dylan Mulvaney is a trans activist and is probably the most talked about trans activist. If you didn't know why that is, you'll find out in a sec. Modern and radical trans activists have been saying for years now that trans women are women. Not trans women, not biological males wishing to be females. They're real women. Most people on the planet know it's not true. I would say like 89% of all people know it's a lie. And it's only a minority of people who try to change definitions and the culture. So some of you might wonder, why give these few individuals any airtime, any attention? The reason why I choose to talk about activists like Dylan Mulvaney is because they're all over social media. Millions are supporting these harmful activists, and they unfortunately, I didn't choose it, but unfortunately, they have a lot of influence. Some of them get invited to the White House, the previous administration, of course. And with the work I do on this channel, I do not feel comfortable ignoring them just because I don't like them. I want to talk to the ones who are seeing Dylan Mulvaney on billboards in New York City and tell them he's not a real trans woman, he's a fraud. I want to make it clear to anyone watching that Dylan is insufferable and it has nothing to do with a gender transition. I don't see how acting this way has anything to do with transsexuals, the real ones.
Oh my god, it's day 1096 of being a girl. It's year 3, and that's me on a billboard in Times Square. Ah! I've got 3 B's, a book, a bath bomb, and a billboard. Oh, wow. Now I think we should hand out some paper doll books to some of these people out in Times Square. Let's go. Yes, it's for you.
What the
This
fuck?
is free paper doll. What's your name?
My name's Jessie.
Oh my god, Jessie, I love you. This is for you.
Oh my gosh, thank you
All
so
enjoy.
much.
All right, let's go.
My name's Ethan.
Hi, honey.
you're
Nice to meet you.
beautiful.
Oh my god,
Yeah, I love your outfit.
Ring the alarms immediately. We gotta go. Okay, I love you. I am so beyond grateful. I feel so happy and just I can't believe what this 3 years has been, and it's all because of you. And I just want to thank you for making this all happen for me. I love you. Thank you, Linktree. Holy crap! Here's Book of Mormon.
The amount of cringe and also fakeness in this video is overwhelming, I gotta say. Him acting like he's this huge celebrity and he can just go up to a random person on the street, assuming they're his biggest fan, is so cringe. I can't. Dylan is like, hi, aren't you glad to see me? Oh, let me give you a hug because you're starstruck. Because I'm so amazing. So amazing. Moving on, I'm so sorry I have to show you this, but this is the Dylan Hour.
In your car, in the shower, on a walk, the Dylan Hour. Feeling sweet, feeling sour.
I feel nothing.
The Dylan Hour. My couch is open, it's better than therapy.
I kind of feel bad for his surgeon who did his facial feminization surgery because he's making these extreme facial expressions. Honey, don't ruin the results of your surgery.
All your theys and thems, all your bottom boys, my bisexual femmes. Come one and all, disassociate with me. It's free. Grab a drink, or 2 or 3. You have no friends, all good, you got me. It's the Dylan Hour.
Dylan is trying to be so cutesy and relatable and especially innocent, and the way I look at it, he's none of those things. We're gonna get back to that. Dylan is an actor trying to convince his audience that he's just being his authentic self as a woman. But notice whenever he gets interviewed, it's like he's reading from a script, like he's acting.
I want people to know that I am just trying my best and that I am deeply flawed and that I don't have all the answers and that I am not an activist by any means, but that I have a lot of joy to give if they will let me share it with them. And that I'd like to make them laugh and that I'd like to sing and dance for them and I'd like to tell my stories and overshare because I think there still is so much good to come from sharing our journeys. I am not a monster. I'm not someone that is trying to make their lives any more difficult. I don't have an agenda. Trans people don't have an agenda. We just are trying our best every single day. And I would ask them to please not make it harder for us.
Trans people don't have an agenda? Well, if you're talking about the old-fashioned transsexuals, you're right. There's an extremely small minority of people with the condition called gender dysphoria who transition to live a better life. That has nothing to do with other people, and it has nothing to do with politics. But Dylan is not talking about transsexuals, you know, the ones we've always heard about, the ones who've always existed. Mostly because he's not one himself, he represents trans activists. People who fake being trans for clout and for political reasons. They, of course, have a political agenda. They're not even hiding that fact. Trans activists today advocate for children transitioning, men to be in women's spaces, and the legal recognition of fake genders. I think in this clip, Dylan is trying to manipulate people, saying, trans people aren't monsters. I'm not a monster. I'm not trying to harm anyone, which is, true. But later on he says, then leave us alone. Let us do whatever we want and also affirm us. And it's like, hold on a minute, just because some horrible people threaten trans activists, calling them a bunch of insane things, doesn't mean that the activists have the right to ruin women's spaces and children's bodies with cross-sex hormones and puberty blockers. Trans activists love to emotionally blackmail people into getting what they want, and it's not okay.
I came out to my mom at age 4 as a girl, and
What did you say?
I said, I think God made a mistake and put a girl into a boy's body. And, she said, God doesn't make mistakes. But, a number of years later, we made it to where we needed to be. But I want them to know that we are not monsters. We are not trying to do anything but just get by and to live authentically. And I think anyone should, try to support someone who is just trying their best and wants to be the best version of themselves. And for me, that is absolutely my womanhood. And no matter what my passport or the administration says, I am a woman, and I feel really proud of it. And that's something that I'm still learning and growing every day in.
No, you're not a woman, and you don't experience womanhood. If you have to learn about it, grow it, whatever that means, it just shows that you're not a woman. Because women naturally experience womanhood. Womanhood is only for women. There it was again. I'm not a monster. So I was right. He's reading from a script. The reason why I'm showing you this clip is because Dylan is hiding his agenda behind, can you say, emotional language? It's very easy for activists like Dylan to get away with spreading a trans agenda because they're only talking about themselves. So they use the argument of, well, I'm just talking about myself and I'm just trying to be happy and live authentically. How can you have a problem with it? The problem is that Dylan is spreading the false belief that people can be trapped in the wrong body. Dylan is spreading the narrative that he is a girl on the inside and that is his true gender, and he's a boy on the outside, so him transitioning, or whatever he did, is a way to correct a mistake that apparently God made. And that's pseudo-religious and far from the truth. Transsexualism is caused by a mental disorder called gender dysphoria. I am one of those few people dealing with that disorder, and I can tell you that there's no boy trapped inside of my body. Me being a biological female, a woman, same thing, was not a mistake. It's not a mistake. The only mistake, or the only thing that didn't work out, was how my brain felt about that fact. Real transsexuals are aware of reality, of biology. We want to live in society, not change it. But trans activists do want to change everything about society, using the transsexual label, the transsexual community, to justify promoting their agenda. That's harming kids and women, and it pisses me off as a transsexual. And I'm far from the only one. I like to call it cultural appropriation. They're appropriating the trans experience. They have no idea what it's like to deal with gender dysphoria, and if they did, they would never promote this ideology. The only thing they would want to do is to find inner peace and to live in society as if they were a regular man or a woman. Dylan Mulvaney is a trans activist, and I am kind of shocked that he's denying it because, I mean, this is him.
Okay. Are you kidding? That's unfair. She made those. I need to calm down. Everything's fine.
Amanda.
I'm an adult.
I mean, he's making a statement about a political thing at a human rights campaign event.
What we're living through is something that in the history books will be written about, and I want to make sure that my piece of it is advocacy. And it's interesting because people often put me as an activist when I'm really just a musical theater girl who now wrote a book. But I think if I was to be able to speak directly to trans people, I would tell them that the parts of us that they are attacking are the best parts of us, and that it's what makes us special and is magic. And hopefully they can see that. And if the folks who maybe don't see me as a woman, which is such a shame, but I just hope that they can find a trans person who they can connect with, to see that we are not monsters, that we're not trying to hurt anyone, and that we're really just doing our best the same as everyone else.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot he said monster in this clip too. Dylan is admitting that trans activists' identity is their politics, is their political agenda. Because no one is attacking trans people for being trans. And it's not a part of real trans people's identity, just the fake ones. The videos of Dylan I've showed you today makes me want to label myself something else but trans. A transsexual trans person. I just don't want anything to do with this. I just want to clarify that my transition or my gender dysphoria is not my identity. So I just call myself a transsexual trans person on the internet because it's easier. Most people know the term already, so. But I wish I didn't have to call myself that. Because I don't want to be associated with supporting children transitioning that physically and mentally harms them. I don't want to be associated with supporting men breaking women's skulls in women's sports. I don't want to be associated with they, them pronouns, zim, zer pronouns, and a million made-up genders. I don't. And all the things I just mentioned, all of it is starting to get pushback. And that is what Dylan is talking about when saying they're attacking us. The backlash trans ideology is receiving is so much needed. It is well-deserved. The last thing I want to show you perfectly proves how Dylan is not just innocent and cute, just trying to live his authentic life as a woman. I found this article saying, Dylan Mulvaney, people say my version of womanhood is too much. Her model of femininity has been accused of being an insult to women. Despite the death threats, she's not slinking away quietly. People aren't saying Dylan's womanhood is too much. They're saying that he's not a woman and he doesn't experience womanhood. Big difference, in my opinion. Again with the manipulation, just because it's not okay that Dylan is receiving death threats doesn't make him a woman all of a sudden. That's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of Dylan Mulvaney. And if you want to see more content like this, remember to hit subscribe and the notification bell. I love you all and I cannot wait to read your comments down below. Peace out.